Welcome to Curious Truth. I am Kim, your host. Today is about a hanging gone wrong. John Coffey was a 23-year-old white male who joined the Methodist Church in 1876, but fell from grace. He was an only child until his mother remarried. Then he gained a stepsister. His mother died in 1883, leaving behind Coffey and his stepsister. They lived in a little town of Crawfordsville, Indiana. Crawfordsville is known for its beautiful homes and cultured society, with a population of almost 7,000 people. John Coffey was arrested 2 years after his mother had passed away for the murders of James and Elizabeth McMullen. James and Elizabeth had been beaten to death and their bodies, along with their home, burned to cover up the crime. John Coffey would confess to the crime 3 times, but his story would change each time he told it. He was found guilty of the murders and was sentenced to be hung. John Coffey would be the first public hanging in Crawfordsville. On October 16, 1885, at 10 o'clock a.m. was when he was scheduled to be hung. The night before Coffey's hanging was a restless night for him. The only family he had left was his stepsister, who was there with him through the night. Everything was fine until 3 a.m., when he became hysterical. The attending physician administered a sedative to calm him down some. He kept crying out, "It is terrible, it is terrible." He would talk about the crime he had committed during his calmer moments. Again, his third time, he would confess, but have a slightly different story. But all 3 confessions, it had to do with him and others going into the McMullens' home to rob them. For the hanging, being it was the first public hanging in Crawfordsville, they sold tickets. All the townspeople came to watch his hanging. By 9 o'clock a.m. that morning, the town streets were full of onlookers. It was not until 12:15, when taken from his cell into the outside quarter, he was given a chair to sit on as the sheriff read the death warrant, which Coffey didn't hear because he was too busy yelling, "This ain't right, this ain't right." After the reading or the arrest warrant, he was escorted up the scaffold about 30 feet. The scaffold was located at the rear of the jail. The scaffold was 12 by 16 feet in size. The platform was 8.5 feet from the ground, with 2 trap doors. As the prayer was being prayed, he was led to where one of the trap doors was, his feet and hands tied. He was given permission to speak. "Them that taketh life cannot giveth." The cords on his hands and feet were checked, and the lever was drawn. His body dropped. The rope broke, and he fell by his coffin onto the ground. Then they then carried him back up to the scaffold. Blood was coming out of his ears, but he wasn't dead. The rope again was put around his neck, and the lever pulled. Again, the rope broke. He was then lifted back up through the trap door and hung for the 3rd time. This time, he would be dead. The sheriff said that they had tested the ropes with 200-pound sandbags before the hanging. The first drop was at 12:36, the second at 12:39, and at 12:41 was the 3rd drop. When the doctor pronounced him dead, he was then cut down and put in a coffin. It was said that Coffey would be seen 3 more times after his death. He was catching a ride with a farmer. He was seen on a train, and he was seen standing where the hanging took place. Do you think John Coffey's ghost is seen because of the hanging going so wrong? Do you think his ghost is still walking around, or is that the jail in Crawfordsville? Comment below, and while you're there, smash the like button and subscribe to Curious Truth. More coming soon. See you on the next video.